Documentary script: The Complete History of France. Approx length: 10 minutes. Style: cinematic historical documentary. Language: English. Intro: France, a nation forged by history. France is more than the Eiffel Tower, Paris, fine cuisine, and beautiful countryside. Behind its modern image lies a dramatic story of kings and queens, wars and revolutions, empires and republics. From the ancient peoples of Gaul to the powerful kingdom of medieval France, from the French Revolution to Napoleon Bonaparte, and from two devastating world wars to the modern French Republic, France has repeatedly transformed itself. Its history is a story of ambition, conflict, culture, and extraordinary change. So how did France become the nation we know today? Let us travel through more than 2,000 years of French history. Chapter 1. Ancient Gaul. Long before France existed as a modern country, the region was known largely as Gaul. Its people included numerous Celtic tribes, each with its own leaders and territories. Gaul was rich in farmland, forests, rivers, and trade routes. Its location made it strategically important to the growing Roman world. In the 1st century BCE, Rome turned its attention toward Gaul. The Roman general Julius Caesar launched a series of military campaigns against the Gallic tribes. One of the most famous leaders to resist Rome was Vercingetorix, who united several Gallic tribes against Caesar. In 52 BCE, Vercingetorix was defeated at the Battle of Alesia. Roman control over Gaul followed. For centuries, Roman roads, cities, laws, architecture, and culture transformed the region. Important settlements grew, and Latin became increasingly influential. Over time, the foundations of what would eventually become France began to take shape. Chapter 2. The Rise of the Franks. By the final centuries of the Roman Empire, the Western Roman world was changing rapidly. Germanic peoples migrated into Roman territories, and Roman authority weakened. Among the groups entering Gaul were the Franks. One of the most important Frankish rulers was Clovis I. Around the end of the 5th century, Clovis united much of the Frankish territory and established a powerful kingdom. His conversion to Christianity was especially significant. It helped create a strong relationship between the Frankish monarchy and the Christian Church. The Frankish kingdom became one of the most important political powers in Western Europe. Chapter 3. Charlemagne and the Carolingian Empire. Centuries later, another Frankish dynasty rose to power. Its greatest ruler was Charlemagne, or Charles the Great. Charlemagne expanded his empire across large parts of Western and Central Europe. In the year 800, Pope Leo III crowned him emperor in Rome. Charlemagne promoted education, administration, Christianity, and cultural development. But his enormous empire did not remain united forever. After his death, his descendants divided the empire. The western portion eventually developed into the kingdom that would become France. The French monarchy would continue to grow in power over the following centuries. Chapter 4. Medieval France. During the Middle Ages, French kings gradually strengthened their control over the kingdom. Power was often divided among nobles who controlled castles, lands, and armies. France also became involved in one of Europe's longest conflicts, the 100 Years' War against England. The war began in 1337 and continued with interruptions until 1453. The conflict devastated parts of France, but it also helped strengthen French national identity. One of the most famous figures of this period was Joan of Arc. A young French woman who believed she had a divine mission, Joan supported the French cause during the later stages of the war. Her role helped inspire French forces, especially during the relief of Orléans. Captured by enemies and executed in 1431, Joan later became a national symbol of France. By the end of the 100 Years' War, the French monarchy had emerged stronger. Chapter 5. Renaissance France. During the 16th century, Renaissance ideas spread across France. Kings sponsored artists, architects, scholars, and magnificent building projects. French castles and palaces were transformed. The Château de Chambord, for example, became one of the most famous examples of Renaissance architecture in France. But this period was not peaceful. France experienced serious religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants. The French Wars of Religion caused years of political and social violence. Eventually, Henry IV helped stabilize the country. His reign marked an important step toward greater political stability. Chapter 6. Louis XIV and the Age of Absolute Monarchy. In the 17th century, France became one of Europe's most powerful states. At the center of this transformation stood Louis XIV, often remembered as the Sun King. Louis XIV ruled for more than 7 decades. He strengthened royal authority and made the monarchy a dominant force in French politics. His magnificent palace at Versailles became a symbol of royal power. Versailles was not simply a residence. It was a political stage where nobles were drawn into the orbit of the king. France also became a major European military power. But wars and enormous royal spending placed heavy pressure on the country's finances. The problems would eventually become part of a much larger crisis. Chapter 7. The French Revolution. By the late 18th century, France faced serious economic and political problems. The government had enormous debts, food prices were rising, and many ordinary people struggled to survive. French society was divided into different estates, and many people believed the system was unfair. In 1789, the crisis exploded. The French Revolution began. The Bastille was stormed in Paris. The monarchy was challenged. Ideas of liberty, equality, and popular sovereignty spread across the country. In 1792, France became a republic. The following year, Louis XVI was executed. The revolution then entered a much more radical period known as the Reign of Terror. Thousands of people were executed as revolutionary leaders attempted to protect the new republic. Eventually, the political situation changed again, and from the chaos emerged a remarkable military leader. Chapter 8. Napoleon Bonaparte. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. A talented military commander, Napoleon rose rapidly through the ranks. In 1799, he seized political power. In 1804, he crowned himself Emperor of the French. Napoleon conquered or dominated large parts of Europe. His armies won famous victories, but his ambitions eventually faced enormous resistance. The disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812 weakened his empire. After further defeats, Napoleon was forced to abdicate. He briefly returned to power during the 100 Days, but his final defeat at Waterloo in 1815 ended his political career. Napoleon was sent into exile on St. Helena, where he died in 1821. Yet his influence survived. His legal reforms, especially the Napoleonic Code, influenced legal systems far beyond France. Chapter 9. France in the 19th century. The 19th century brought repeated political changes. France experienced monarchies, republics, and another empire. In 1848, another revolution established the Second Republic. Later, Louis Napoleon Bonaparte became emperor as Napoleon III. Under his rule, France underwent major modernization. Paris was dramatically redesigned, with wide boulevards and new infrastructure. Industry expanded, railways connected regions, and France continued to build an overseas empire. But the Franco-Prussian War of 1870–71 ended the Second Empire. The Third Republic followed. France entered a period of republican government that would last for decades. Chapter 10. World War I. In 1914, Europe entered the First World War. France became one of the principal Allied powers. The Western Front crossed French territory, and some of the war's most devastating battles took place there. Battles such as Verdun became symbols of the terrible human cost of industrial warfare. Millions of soldiers were killed or wounded during the conflict. France eventually emerged on the winning side in 1918, but large parts of northern and eastern France had suffered enormous destruction. The peace that followed would prove temporary. Chapter 11. World War II. In 1939, another world war began. In 1940, Nazi Germany invaded France. French forces were defeated rapidly, and France was divided between German occupation and the collaborationist Vichy regime. But resistance continued. Charles de Gaulle, who had escaped to Britain, became the symbolic leader of Free France. French resistance networks operated inside occupied territory. In 1944, Allied forces landed in Normandy. France was gradually liberated. Paris was liberated in August 1944. The war finally ended in Europe in 1945. France emerged victorious with the Allies, but the country had suffered occupation, destruction, and deep political divisions. Chapter 12. Modern France. After World War II, France rebuilt its economy and political institutions. In 1958, the Fifth Republic was established under Charles de Gaulle. This political system continues today. France also played an important role in European integration. Together with other European countries, it helped build institutions that eventually became the European Union. Modern France is a major economic, cultural, diplomatic, and military power. Paris remains one of the world's most famous cities. French art, literature, cinema, fashion, science, architecture, and cuisine continue to influence people around the globe. Outro. The story continues. The history of France is not simply the history of kings, battles, and revolutions. It is the story of a nation that repeatedly reinvented itself. Gaul became a Roman province. The Franks created a powerful kingdom. Medieval kings built a stronger monarchy. Revolution destroyed the old order. Napoleon created an empire. Republics rose and fell. 2 world wars transformed the nation. And through all these changes, France continued to evolve. Today, when we look at France, we see more than a modern European country. We see the legacy of ancient Gaul, medieval kingdoms, royal palaces, revolutionaries, emperors, republicans, soldiers, artists, scientists, and ordinary people. The story of France is a story of transformation, and perhaps its greatest chapter is the one still being written.